Alright, let's try this again. I don't know what the heck that was. Okay, let's just give it a minute. Did it work this time? Okay, so it looks like it worked. Alright, what's going on, guys? Good afternoon. For whatever reason, my computer blew up and the original stream at 12, it just, the whole thing crashed. So I just had to restart my computer and OBS and YouTube and everything. So hopefully we won't have any more problems and the stream will be able to go on. Let me see. Guess I'll do this after. Alright, so for anyone that's catching this as a replay, for anyone that wants to know, I do stream twice a month, every other Saturday at 12 Eastern to 2 p.m. So that's the general schedule that I'm trying to maintain with the streams. We tried to stream 2 weeks ago on Sunday, and it was okay, but I asked for feedback, and most people wanted Saturdays, so I'm going to stick with Saturdays for now. And what I've been really trying to do recently is get on a schedule, you know, like not just a streaming schedule, but schedule for my regular content and a schedule hopefully in the future for my podcast. So as of today, I try to post one video every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then do the 2 streams a month. Now the podcast is super sporadic. I would like to hopefully get to a point where I could do one a week, or at least one every 2 weeks. But I keep having this reoccurring issue where I'm struggling to find guests. So if there's anyone watching this that would like to chat or who is interested in doing a podcast, hit me up. You know, let me know. Don't be shy. Alright, so what did I want to do today? Oh yeah, so I didn't start, I wanted to talk a little bit about journaling. Now this is something that I've been trying to get into recently and develop a better habit. So we'll give some time for hopefully some people to show up, and I'm going to write my daily entry for today, September 25th. Okay, so the way that I usually journal, I usually, hey, B-Muse, what's up, dude? How's the video editing going? Oh yeah, and how's Twitch? I haven't been on Twitch in probably a long time. I'm kind of betting on this idea that I feel like in the future YouTube is gonna be a more popular streaming platform, if that makes any sense. I think because of the discoverability. But I'm not against Twitch, but I kind of started streaming on here instead, and it sort of just stuck. So I kind of don't log on to Twitch anymore. Yeah, what's going on, man? How you been? Gotta keep getting those editing gigs in. Okay, so right now I am writing down kind of like affirmations of goals that I want to achieve in the future. And there's this one concept that I really learned from this book that I read recently called the 10x rule, which I made a video about. And it really emphasized this idea of setting really big goals, right? And not just setting mediocre goals. Hey, Batiste, how are you? I'm pretty good. Thanks for coming by, dude. Good to see you. How's Oh, I wanted to ask you, how's life in France? I've seen some crazy protests on social media recently in France about I don't know if it was about masks or vaccines or something, but I saw these wild protests in the streets. It was crazy. And then I immediately thought about you. Editing has gone really well. I got enough client work to warrant taking a gap year from college. I edit for a couple. Wow, dude, that's huge. I edit for a couple Twitch partner streamers. Dude, that's amazing. Oh, that's awesome, man. Congrats. That's really good. Like, I know that people are probably going to tell you that, like, college and education, is very important, right? But at the same time, like, you seem like a guy who's really good at video editing. Like, I've seen you edit, right? And if it's like a passion, definitely pursue it. Like, definitely pursue it. Like, whatever gigs you can get, because you never know what that can lead to, right? But that's awesome. You edit for Twitch partnered streamers. That's so good. Because then you're kind of building up your like your portfolio, right? Like your online portfolio. Yeah, that's awesome. I love hearing stories about that, of people finding ways to make money from even something as simple as like video editing, right? Like anything creative. Yeah, it's really cool having fun. Yeah, that's the most important part too, right? Because if it's fun and you enjoy it, it's never going to feel like a job, right? And that is like the best thing in the world, regardless of how much money you make. How have things been on your end? Fairly stressful, I'd say. So I've kind of rededicated myself to improving my work ethic, trying to post one YouTube video every Wednesday, and then trying to do 2 of these live streams every month. So every other Saturday I'm doing one of these live streams. And I've been really forcing myself to reach out to people and cold email people and try to find guests for my podcast. I'm always looking for, like, even you, if you want to be on my podcast, bro, let me know. I'm always looking for people. Maybe we could talk about some video editing or something. But I'm trying to force myself to stay uncomfortable and do more difficult things, because I noticed, especially when it comes to creating content, it's easy to get complacent and get lazy and kind of put things off and just chill. And I want to make sure I never fall into that trap, right? So I always keep myself on my toes by, setting deadlines, starting new projects, creating new ideas, and going after new things, right? And it's not that I want to stay busy, but keeping yourself busy also helps you progress, right? Oh, it was about the vaccine. Yeah, it was pretty violent in Paris, but in my town, Pau, there was a huge group protesting in front of the town hall, but there was no violence. Okay, that's, like, I'm all for people protesting. Like, I feel like people should have the right to protest, and share their beliefs and talk about things, right? But it's when the protesting turns into violence, like, that's when we got an issue, right? Because unfortunately, so many times that leads to, like, people's businesses being broken into, things being destroyed, cars in the streets, and it's just never a good thing, right? But yeah, I saw that going on in France, and I immediately thought of you, and I was like, wow, like, what a crazy world we live in right now, like, everything, like, I don't even know what to think anymore. Like, I don't know. I don't even know. It's rough. Oh, I need to get on a schedule too. I always feel behind on videos. And about the podcast, I actually had an idea for a video editor podcast. So I think it would be really cool to talk about stuff. Oh, you want to start your own, like, your own pod? Should do it, dude. Podcasts are so much fun, especially if you're just like a curious person that likes to have conversations about various topics. Like, it's great. But yeah, if you want to do mine, let me know, and I can show you how I set everything up and how I record it and all that stuff. But yeah, definitely start one if you want to do it. I don't know, but I'd be down to go on yours. Yeah, man, let's do it. Just like we could even talk about, you know, ideas for your stuff too, right? Yeah, just send me an email and we'll set it up. And then hopefully we could also get you some exposure for your channel. You never know, right? I agree with this idea of never staying in the same field of activities. It's easy to become lazy. I love to try new sports, for example. It's been 3 weeks since I started learning. Huh? What is that? Krav Maga? What is that? Hold on, Batiste. I gotta Google that. I don't know what that is. Krav Maga? Oh, it's like martial arts? Am I saying that right? Krav Maga is a military self-defense and fighting system developed for the Israel Defense Forces and Israeli security forces, derived from a combination of techniques sourcing from boxing, wrestling, judo, aikido, and karate. Wow. Huh. Dude, that's awesome, man. I'd love to start my own podcast. I have some ideas, but not so much time with my studies. Yeah, like it's tough, right? Because you want to prioritize your schoolwork. But the one thing that's good about podcasting, you can start off like super simple. Like even if you just get your phone and then just like turn it on and record and like put it on a table and talk to like one of your friends. The most important thing with podcasting is to just start. Is to just get episode 1 out and then just build that momentum. Like you don't even have to post, like Batiste, you could do 1 podcast a month for like half an hour. Just to start it and get it out there and just like figure it out as you go along. Because for my podcast, I started over a year ago and episode 1 was just start. That's what it was called. And it was like maybe 15 minutes. I just turn on the camera and then just force myself to create episode 1 and then just keep going. Because what's interesting about podcasting is that if you want to be in the top 1 percentile of the entire world of podcasting, you need to get to episode 20. Like 99% of people quit by episode 19. Like that's how hard it is to get a podcast started and going. But if you can just force yourself to do episode 1, you know, just 15 minutes here or half an hour and just maybe 1 a month, then maybe all of a sudden you might have extra time on the weekend, you do another one with your friend and then just keep building on that initial momentum. And then that's how it kind of just like takes off type of thing. But yeah, if you have some ideas, even just like what I did is I started talking with my wife and I started talking with my friends and just talk about whatever, right? And you never know what it could turn into. I'll email you for sure and about the cold emailing people. I think you should, because that's actually how I got my editing clients. I just cold emailed them and advertising myself. Yeah, I've been doing that. In the past, I didn't really do it because I always thought I didn't have enough time. But then I was like, okay, I'm sitting here and I'm complaining that I don't have enough guests to be on my podcast, but I'm not doing anything about it, right? So why am I complaining? And so this realization kind of just forced me to just start sending out cold emails, right? And I was surprised at how many people actually said yes. And I think like the last 4 or 5 episodes that I had was just from cold emailing. So it's something that I definitely need to do more of. Hello. Yo, Master Yoda. What's going on, Master Yoda? What's up? Yo, Prime Time. Prime Time made it. What's going on, Brian? Here you need a guest? Hey, Brian, if you have anyone that wants to be on a podcast, let me know. Oh, I'm desperate. It's like I want to do more episodes, and I pay for this service to make it really easy to record. But like that's the problem is just finding the people, right? So, you know what I want? I want to talk to someone that's super interested in something that I know nothing about. Like I'd want to talk to like a carpenter or like a mechanic or a software engineer or something, like something that I have like no knowledge on, but that I'm sort of interested to learn about. Hope I'm not late. No, Master Yoda, you're lots of time, bro. I'm gonna go for planning until 2 o'clock, so another hour and a half at least. But thanks for coming by, Master Yoda. I'm trying to convince my mother-in-law to start her own podcast. Huh. So she has her own business. All right, Joe. Do your thing, man. Email me and we'll figure out a date. That's cool. Yeah, your mother-in-law has a business, Batiste. See, what's great about podcasting, it's like you don't really need like much money to set up. To start it, just your phone is good enough to start. Like I know it's nice to have like all this microphones and equipment and gear. And yeah, like that's great and all, but what's more important is just creating the episodes and recording the content. That's way more important than any fancy microphone, right? But yeah, definitely try to convince her to start, because there's no downsides, right? It's not like you have to pay a subscription service to some big network to start a podcast. It's not like you have to pay a producer. Like there's none of that. It's just there's like no cost basically, unless you want to host the episodes on a server yourself, I guess, and then pay for hosting fees. I guess that's one cost you could have. But there's so many of these platforms like Anchor where you upload your podcast for free and they distribute it everywhere for you and you don't have to pay anything. So hey Derek, have you ever heard of a channel called Hamza Ahmed? Oh, that sounds familiar. Is that dude like a self-development YouTube channel kind of like mine? Is he a doctor? Oh, let me Google that. I think I have. I'm not 100% sure. Okay, no, that's not who I was thinking of.
For most.
Whoops. Well, I'm just checking out his channel. Okay, so this guy started with like bodybuilding stuff, pull-ups, gymnastics. Oh, that's pretty cool. So I'm assuming it's similar to mine. Yeah, I'll save this tab. I'll check out his channel later. He seems like he has a lot of 285 videos. Probably a lot of stuff that I'd be interested in too. Okay, so he still does like the diet and bulking stuff. Passive income, journaling. Oh, okay, so he talks about a variety of subjects. Oh man, how to actually win a street fight? Oh, that's a serious video. It would be so interesting. A French YouTuber did this for almost a year and a half. Let me move this. I don't like looking all the way to the right to read the chat. Okay, I gotta resize all my browsers. A French YouTuber did this for almost a year and a half. He met different people in various fields of work, and he works with them for 2 to 3 days. Huh. See, that's what interests me the most, is like talking to people in a wide range of fields and expertise and knowledge. Like, I find that the most interesting thing, right? Because when you think about your circle of friends, like generally, unless you're a person that makes like new friends frequently, but generally you know the type of job your friends have, and you know the type of knowledge they have, and you know their perspective, and you know their views on the world. And so you kind of get stuck in this place where you guys know what you know, and the conversations and thoughts don't really expand at a high rate. But when you talk to like strangers or people that are on completely other sides of the world, this is where you learn these things and perspectives that I would never come across in everyday life. Like even here on this live stream, like I talked to Forrest, right, from like Kosovo, and Baptiste from France, and it's like I learn about things that I would never learn about if I was to talk to, you know, my neighbors here or my friends who live here. And you really get this self-education from other people and what other people know. He's the most helpful guy I've ever seen. Oh wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely check his channel out. In what way was he helpful for you? Was it like the weightlifting and workout stuff, or just like the guy's general knowledge? How old is his channel? Let me see. So when did he start? September 2019. Oh dang. Yeah, I'll save this for after the stream. Hamza. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Hey, that sounds like something that I believe in. And that sort of relates to the whole point of why I'm doing like this live stream and the podcast and all these things. It's exactly like what he says. Like there's so much value in doing the hard work, and there's so much value in doing things that make you extremely uncomfortable, that you aren't used to and may seem foreign to you, right? And this is like a big problem that I had when I was younger, is like human beings are meant to learn and grow and adapt, right? But you never start that adaptation process unless you challenge yourself. It's like that old saying, right? If you do the same things over and over and over, you're never going to grow, right? To be honest, in everything, mental health and addictions, productivity, social skills, and so on. Okay, that's awesome. So he has like a broad perspective on life and not just like the bodybuilding, weightlifting stuff. See, it's interesting because that's sort of how like my YouTube channel started too. Like I started with the health and fitness stuff, like the working out, going to the gym, losing weight, being healthier. And then eventually, if you're not fully invested in the fitness world, your interest kind of like wanes off over time, or it kind of like declines. But then that's when I kind of found the more broad and general self-development world, where it talks about like a wide range of ideas, like being productive, like morning routines and sleep schedules, and the value of gratitude, and all these other different subjects and topics that can improve your life as a whole and not just improve the physical side, right? And I feel like those channels are valuable too. The ones that are willing to talk about, you know, emotional problems, spiritual problems. Although I'm still kind of a beginner to self-improvement, but after watching his videos, everything now has a meaning to do. Yeah, that's good, man. Especially if you can find someone that really resonates with you. Because I know a lot of the time we get stuck on the number of subscribers, right, that a channel has. And the higher the number usually means the better the channel is, or at least like that's kind of how we process it in our minds. But for me, I think the biggest value is finding like the YouTube channel that speaks to you, that kind of like speaks to your soul, that really resonates with you, and you can connect with that creator's message. And it's like a hard thing to explain how to find, but when you know it, you kind of know it. And I think that's like one of the best things about the self-development world, you know? Like I found a couple of YouTubers that have 200 subscribers, but their message and the ideas they talked about, they speak to me so much more than some of these guys that have like 2 million subscribers, right? So it's tough, right? It's tough. But if this Hamza guy, you know, if he's really helping you out, like, you know, that's awesome, dude. Like that's amazing. And then even like some of the ideas that he talks about, or some of the videos that he posts, like you might not be able to apply everything to your life because we're all so different on an individual basis, right? But maybe there's like one part of his workout plan that you could use, or maybe he has this idea on discipline or journaling that you can use, and you can kind of just like pick and choose these positive habits and ideas from other creators and then kind of incorporate them into your life. And then you'll soon figure out like what works for you and then what doesn't. And then if you can be honest with yourself and be like, okay, this doesn't work, and that, and then you just like get rid of it. But these other things over here, like these all helped your life, and now you want to keep going forward with them as a new habit. And I think that's what's really beneficial from learning from other creators in the self-development world. In terms of personal development, I like watching YouTubers and people like you, because like me, you are still on your journey. I like guys like Jocko Willink and Ant Milton, but there is something missing. It's I know what you mean, Baptiste. It's like the struggle is missing. Or like guys like Jocko, they've already reach success, right? They've already made it through the grind and the part where they're just like really struggling, right? Oh, I'm gonna turn down this music a little bit. I don't know. Let me know if this music is too loud. But yeah, like take me for example. Like you can see that the stuff that I post, or the podcast episodes that I create, or these live streams that I do, we have what, 2, 3, 4 viewers, right? So this, I'm not doing this like for the clout or the fame, but at the same time, it's not like I have achieved a level of success yet, right? Where I can take it easy. I'm still at the very bottom of that curve, of that journey, where life is hard. Like life is extremely, extremely hard and difficult for me right now, because I've set all these goals and things that I want to achieve. And obviously I'm not there yet, but this is what I value the most in self-development, like you said, is the journey, right? Like, what do you do when things get tough, right? What do you do when you're faced with adversity, right? Do you crumble like so many other people in the world, or do you find the inner strength to just keep going and keep moving forward and keep pushing and keep getting back up whenever you fall down? And I've had so many failures, right? Like, I've had so many videos that did bad, so many videos that bombed, like live streams where I was talking to myself for like an hour, no one shows up, podcast episodes that no one listens to or downloads, and it's like unbelievably discouraging, right? But then I remind myself, like, that's not what I'm doing this for, right? That's not the reason that I'm doing all this. And the journey is the best part. Like, that is the best part out of all of this, right? Even if I do achieve some level of success, right? I'm still going to remind myself, like, to do the hard things, to do the difficult things, and to move towards the tasks that make me extremely vulnerable, right? Because that is what creates the personal growth. That is what creates the improvement in your life. And it's when you get to that point where you've had enough, where it's like, if you just feel like, you know, like, I made it, I'm good, I don't have to work anymore. Like, when you get to that point, I think that's when you lose, right? I think that's when you lose the journey, is when you settle, right? So I'm always very aware of that, and I'm trying to stay true to these ideas and morals that I believe in. But I get the frustration, you know, because life is so difficult. Like, there's even some days when I look at, like, even just my bills, like bills, or like cell phone bill or internet bill, or, you know, this camera I bought, computer I bought, this and that, and you just, it's not easy. You know, anyone that says that life is easy is either lying, or they never made it through anything difficult. Like, it is not easy. And this is when you need to make the most important decision, right? Like, don't crumble to the pressure, right? Keep going, you know, keep moving forward. And that's what I try to remind myself, right? I like that. When times are hard, I say this sentence in my head: I am not cold. The rain can't extinguish the heat of my heart and the flame of my soul. Oh, that's deep. I like that. I am not cold. The rain can't extinguish the heat of my heart and the flame of my soul. Wow. That's like, are you a philosopher, Baptiste? Oh, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, and you gotta, like, you know, you gotta follow your passions too, right? You gotta follow your heart. You gotta follow what's in your soul. And what's difficult about that too is, like, your brain, and this is something that I became super aware of recently, is that your brain always fights you. Like, your brain always gives you these internal justifications of why you shouldn't do something. Like, oh, don't do that, that's too risky. Or, oh, don't try this, you might fail. Or, oh, don't try this new business plan, you might look stupid. And your brain creates all these irrational rationalizations for why you shouldn't do something. And I think about this a lot, because I'm like, why do I keep thinking about that? Like, why do I keep wanting to do what's safe And it's always your brain is trying to protect you from harm, right? And whatever that thought is deep in your mind, it's like at some point I realized I can't listen to it. I have to go against it. And I have to follow what's in my heart and my soul rather than what's rational that's in my mind. Yeah, that's it. The lizard brain. That's what I was trying. I knew it had a name. I couldn't remember what it was called. Yeah, your lizard brain. It's like your natural instincts as a human being, right? Because if you think about how we evolved, like what were human beings doing? We were out all day trying to search for food, right? Trying to create shelter and try to not get killed in the process by whatever cats or animals or whatever beasts that were out there, right? And so over millions of years, our brains have adapted to try to convince you to stay safe, right? And this is why people also have such problems with like eating food and becoming overweight, because your body wants to store body fat, right? Because think about what your body is doing. Like your body stores fat on literally the most mathematically sound place on your body, which is your gut, because that's your center of gravity, right? So naturally, your body wants to store body fat in a place where you can still remain mobile and move around. So it's actually like a genius evolutionary process that human beings went through. But like your brain wants to consume calories. It wants to save up a storage of body fat. So when there's periods of starvation and famine, that you'll be able to consume yourself and be okay. But this is not the reality we live in now, right? Like we have refrigeration, we have grocery stores, we have canned foods, like McDonald's, we have all kinds of things, right? And yeah, it's like fighting those lizard brain instincts is so challenging. Camus. Oh, I love Camus. For him, realizing that life is unfair and hard is a gift and not a curse. Once you truly accept it and you can fully do the things you love and reach goals. Realizing that life is unfair and hard is a gift and not a curse. Once you truly accept it, you can fully do the things you love and reach goals. I like that. See, like those words are so wise, right? And it's very simple too, right? Like accepting the fact that the difficulties in life is a gift for you to make you grow and be able to overcome these things. And it's not a curse, right? But unfortunately, so many people do view those things in a negative light and see them as a curse. Man, I love listening to like older philosophers because they have these words of wisdom that are almost timeless. They're even applicable to everyday life now, where we're inundated with ads and obsessed with technology and smartphones. But even these philosophical words from people who lived hundreds and hundreds of years ago, they still apply to the human condition and the human mindset, which I find super interesting. It's like one of my favorite quotes that I've ever heard. Same as here. YK? What I mean? Oh, you know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, one of my favorite quotes that I've ever heard was from Confucius. And he said that every man has two lives. And the second one starts when you realize that you only have one. Right? And I was like, damn, like mind-blowing moment. Like every man has two lives. But the second one starts when you realize you only have one. And I kind of came to that point too when I realized, like, I'm not getting any younger, man. You know? Like, I'm 4 years away from 40. So I better start going after like these things that I love to do, right? So that was a huge learning moment for me. And I guess that's when my, quote unquote second life started, when I realized, I only got one life and I'm probably halfway through mine already. So let's make the best of the second half that I have left. Let's see. Life is hard and there is things that you can't control. So it is useless to lose time thinking about it. So what not to do the things you like. And he also says, create is like living a second time. Yeah, that's another thing too, is when things are out of your control. That's life, right? That's life. It's tough for the people that are like extreme control freaks. Like they want everything to go a certain way. They want to stay within that mundane daily routine of everything just working out. But it's just never like that. Life is never like that. Life is messy. Life is sporadic. Life is all over the place. And even just look at like the weather. The weather is never the same. The weather's always crazy. Look at the economy or the stock market. It's always changing and going all over the place. And look at things like technology. Like we have new phones and bigger and better screens and gear at every 9 months? Like even iPhone, the new iPhone came out, right? iPhone 13. And I swear, like the iPhone 12, didn't that just come out? And it's like, man, can't keep up. Did the books that you read before had any impact in your life, and how? Yeah, so I've had, I would like to say, maybe 2 different periods in my life where books have made a big impact. Early on, when I was like maybe in my late teens, early 20s, I was reading finance books. And that really sparked my interest with like learning how to be responsible with money and learning how to save and what to do with my finances. And it really taught me about like debt and assets and liabilities. And that kind of like set me up to be a point where like I'm stable. I don't have any crazy debt or anything. I'm okay, right? Like I'm not wealthy or rich by any means, but I'm not poor and I'm not broke. So I'm at a place where I'm comfortable, right? And finance books really helped me out when I was younger, because you don't get taught about money in school. They don't teach you about interest rates or compound interest or retirement funds or stocks and bonds and equities. Like you never learn about this stuff in school, which is so dumb, right? Because the world runs on money, right? So reading finance books in my late teens and early 20s was huge for me. But then there was this big period, I guess you would call it like the dark years of my life, where I wasn't into the self-development stuff, and I kind of just like wasted my life away just working for the sake of working and just playing video games and basketball all the time. But it wasn't until later in my early 30s was when I got back into books, and I started reading like the self-development stuff and really learning like what is a habit and what is discipline, and how to build these positive habits and routines in your life that can create a better future for yourself. So for me, any type of finance books, I read like The Wealthy Barber, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I'll Teach You to Be Rich, The Philosophy of Money. These are all books that help me get a baseline understanding of personal finance and money. So those are huge for me. And then after that, a lot of like the big self-development books were huge. Atomic Habits was big. Anything like by Seth Godin is good too. Grant Cardone. Well, Grant Cardone's a bit extreme, but he still has some good ideas. But yeah, the self-development books really helped me with being a responsible adult. The importance of work ethic, the importance of showing up every day, the importance of habits and routine and discipline, and just not being lazy. Like it's so easy to just blow everything off and just be like, oh, I'm just going to watch Netflix this weekend, or oh, I don't want to do that. I'm just going to, play like video games, you know, all Sunday. You know what I mean? Like that's what I really got from self-development books is, you know, be a man, right? Like teaching you to be a man and be responsible and don't just be a bum, right? If that's the best way that I can describe it. What I sadly learned with the death of my mother. Oh, dude. Oh, Batiste, sorry to hear that, man. Oh, she had cancer. Is that the only thing in life we can get back is time. It is truly time that we must spend the most wisely. Dang, bro. Yeah, sorry to hear that, man, about your mom. That's tough. Yeah, cancer is brutal, man. It kind of, you know, it kind of makes you appreciate, right? Like how limited an amount of time we have on this earth, right? Like we're only here for a short period of time. Like even if you make it to like the life expectancy here in Canada is like 80, I don't know, 82 or something. Even if you make it there, right? Like your first 20 years, you don't know who you are, right? When you're a teenager, you don't know what you want to do. But yeah, man. Yeah, Batiste, that's hard, man. Yeah, I wish I had yeah, I wish I had some comforting words, but you know, grief is tough. It's like another thing we all go through, right? It's man, especially like mom too. Yeah. The book that had the biggest impact on me is Life is So Good by George Dawson. I don't care if my glass is half empty or half full. I just asking myself, have I enough? Oh, is there enough water for me? Not talking about it was the thing that helped deal with it. Just chatting with great people like both of you warm my heart. It's it's hard, man. Like I know, like I know how you feel, right? Because like 10 years ago, like Tina's mom had breast cancer and passed away. So it's like it's painful, right? Like I know, like I know the feeling, I know the grief, I know the sorrow. It's hard to internalize something like that, right? Because like you love your parents, right? You want to see your parents live and grow old and, you know, accomplish all their dreams in life and, you know, and be happy and Oh man. Yeah, dude. Sorry to hear that, man. It's hard. It's hard. But it's tough because like eventually you move on, right? With life. But you'll never forget like your mom. Like you'll never forget those people, right? That they'll always stay with you, you know. My mom told me on the day that it is during the darkest days that we can see the light at its full potential. Wow. Yeah, that's strong. See, that's like, it's like another reminder, you know, like life is precious. Like we only have so many years here, right? And the question is, what are you gonna do with the time that you're here, right? Are you gonna enjoy your moments, enjoy your relationship, and enjoy the people around you that you love? Or are you gonna like waste your time and days, you know, with negative thoughts and bitter ideas and all this like conflict that comes with like social media? And I don't know, it puts things into perspective, right? Like for me, I'm fortunate. I'm lucky that, you know, my both of my parents are doing well, and you know, they're healthy, and you want to have as many good moments as you can and be as positive as you can, you know, throughout life, and live a good life, right? But man, those dark days, like they're tough, dude. They're tough. Like I'm running out of words to describe how I feel. But like things like that are a good reminder, you know. It's a good reminder to take the glass half full approach, right? And be thankful and show gratitude towards, you know, your community and the people you love and your family. And then just keep living life, right? Like live the best you can. The stream got deep. Oh. Do you have any brothers or sisters, Batiste? Hey Derek, I have a list of questions that I have been waiting for you to answer them. Hey, sure. Go ahead, brother. Shoot them off. The thing that I like about questions as well, it's I have all these ideas in my mind and all these thoughts, but it's not until someone forces me to articulate them and to speak them out into the world that they never amount to anything. And a lot of the time, you know, I learn from my own thoughts, and not just learning from other people, right? How do you meditate? Okay, so I am not the best with meditation. I used to try to do half an hour sessions, but I always found it way too difficult and I couldn't maintain that. So right now I do meditation in the morning, not every day. I wish I did it every day, but I do about 5 minutes. And the way that I do meditation is I don't use an app. I just sit in this chair, like right here in front of like my computer. No music, no app, no sound, nothing. And I just, you know, close my eyes and try to think about nothing, because that's what meditation is, right? Meditation is the art of doing nothing, right? It's thinking about nothing. And sometimes your brain just won't shut up, right? And you're going to think all these crazy thoughts. And when that happens, what I like to do is I like to think and concentrate on my breath until my thoughts disappear. So I just sit there and just, Breathe in, breathe out, and then just try to do at least 5 minutes. And it's like a weird thing. It kind of just like always resets me in the morning. It puts me in a great frame of mind. So yeah, I don't use an app. No music, no nothing. Just 5 minutes thinking about nothing. Definitely a habit I could get better at, though. Oh, you have one older sister? Wow, what is that? Galapagos Island. Oh, wow. Cool, I'm going to Google that. Galapagos. Oh, island in Ecuador. Oh, wow. Oh, how strange. That's like in the middle of nowhere. How do you even get there? You fly from Ecuador? Such a cliche when I started meditation. Incense sticks and Zen music. Dang, bro, that's like that's serious. That's like you're all in. You're all in on the full meditation experience. That's cool. It's like, you know what it is? It's whatever works for you, right? There's no like right or wrong way, I don't think, about meditation. But I think the idea of meditation is just, it's the art of doing nothing, right? It is to just think of nothing, try to be empty and calm in your mind. I think that's a general idea, is because like we're always too busy in the mind, right? We're constantly stimulated. We're constantly thinking about things and contemplating ideas and computing information. It's like a brain overload, you know? Like it's just too much going on. So I feel like whatever meditation method works for you to actually perform the practice, is what the best thing is to do, in my opinion, at least. I never tried the incense sticks. Never tried it. The Zen music stuff I've tried. For mushrooms, not meditation though. But yeah, that's definitely a habit that I should spend more time on. That I should really concentrate on improving and getting better at. Because far too often I just kind of let it slide. Like, did I meditate today? No, I didn't. What did I do today? I woke up. Oh yeah, I woke up and I was writing. Yeah, so no, I didn't even meditate today. I didn't work out either. Man, I gotta work out today and I gotta meditate. I'm behind. Not that much of a productive day then, I guess. The problem with meditation is that most people think it is an odd mystical ritual. And like you said, it is just the art of doing nothing. Yeah, I don't know when this happened, but meditation has this weird woohoo bullshit connotation, like kind of attached to it. Like, oh wow, you're in meditation, you're like some spiritual nonsense. Like whenever I talk about meditation to like my coworkers at work, like I guess you would call them like regular people, they always look at you funny, like, what are you trying to be, like some spiritual healer or a monk or something? So yeah, there is like this weird mystical ritual that is attached to it, which makes it kind of bizarre. But I think meditation is slowly inching its way into the mainstream. Kind of like, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of yoga. Like, I don't know, like maybe 10 years ago or so, or maybe it was more, but yoga wasn't that much of a thing. Like, no one really did hot yoga, or no one went to yoga. Like, it wasn't a thing. But then, like, it sort of made its way into the mainstream. And I think that's what's happening with meditation, is that it's kind of going to be more accepted by normal people. Um, Yo, I just remembered something. I want you and Batiste to check out the dopamine detox. The dopamine detox? Like a dopamine detox video? I just don't know how to react to that. Yeah, it's tough talking to people in the mainstream about ideas like, and this is what I struggle with, ideas like meditation, gratitude journaling, cold showers, and intermittent fasting. People look at me like I'm batshit crazy. Like when I talk about this type of stuff, when people ask me at work, and they look at me like I'm some type of witch doctor. They're like, "You do what?" Like to them, the idea of not eating breakfast, taking a cold shower, sitting down in a room, closing my eyes, and thinking about nothing is completely alien to them, and they think I'm crazy, right? They I don't know where this comes from, but maybe it's because this is something that like in the 70s that hippies would do. Like these are all like ideas that are part of like the hippie movement, right? So is that why people think it's strange? Like I always get these adverse reactions from people when they ask me about things like that. I find it quite amusing, to be honest. They'll be like, "What? You don't eat breakfast? What, do you starve?" If you want to check it out, you should go to Hamza. Oh, so the Hamza guy again? Yeah, no worries, man. Mention him as much as you want. Yeah, I've done short dopamine detoxes, and I've kind of been doing one right now. Like I've been staying off of Instagram and kind of not posting there anymore. Like how long has it been? Let me see. When was the last time I posted on Instagram? So last time I posted was March 22nd. So that's what, 6 months ago? I feel like there's an extreme amount of value in dopamine detoxes. And Instagram was something that I was like heavily addicted to. You know, like what bothers me about Instagram more than like YouTube? Like YouTube, I can go on YouTube, like click a video, watch it, and then when it's done, like it's done, right? But on Instagram, it's like I scroll and I scroll and I scroll, and like an hour goes by and I scroll, and then it's 2 hours. Like it's just this never ending feed of just going like this. And it's just, you're just inundated with entertainment and stimulation just constantly. And I know that some people probably have this problem with YouTube, but for me, YouTube, I can manage it fine. But things like Instagram and TikTok and Reels, oh my God, it's just my time just gets sucked into this black hole vortex, and I just can't get away from it. Same here in my school. I told to a group during a party that I was doing yoga in the morning, eating healthy all week, and reading philosophy and theology. And they looked at me like I was a weird shaman. I looked at you like you were a weird shaman. Dude, I know exactly. I know. That word's so funny, a shaman. I know exactly how you feel. Oh, that's hilarious. That's so funny. Like, and look what you're talking about. You're talking about stretching, right? Not eating bullshit food, and reading. Like stretching eating good food, and reading. That all seem like very fundamental and simple ideas that people do, right? But for whatever reason, it's skewed towards the abnormal. And you're like in this fringe group of society, like, oh, that guy, oh, Batiste, he's into all that weird shit, you know? He's into all that meditation. It's funny. But you know what? We shouldn't judge those people too, you know? Like I laugh, you know, I laugh and I criticize, but it's all for good fun, you know? I don't feel any ill will or animosity towards you know, the people that make fun of me. It's all good. It's okay. It's okay to not always be okay, right? An endless nightmare. Oh, that's so funny. I like that. But you know what's interesting about all those habits? Like especially yoga and meditation. People think that it's really easy. Like, oh, you just stretch. Oh, you just sit down and close your eyes. That's so easy. But what they don't know is when you actually do it, it is unbelievably hard. And it is so difficult to just, I don't know, like, what do you call that pose? Downward dog or tree pose, like any of those yoga poses. To hold those for like 10 to 20 seconds is ridiculously hard. It is not easy. And even just like try meditating for 10 minutes with no distractions if you've never done it before. It is brutal. Like you're just like constantly fighting with your mind and you just can't sit still. And these are things that people, for whatever reason, they have deemed them as, oh, that's very simple and very basic. But in reality, when you actually try it, it's incredibly tough. So that also really intrigues me. Oh, you haven't done yoga? Yoga is I got into the hot yoga. This is before COVID, right? Like COVID shut all the yoga places down here, but I used to do the hot yoga at the gym, and I would kind of just do it maybe once a month or something. I would just do it randomly before a workout, and man, just being in a room where the temperature is increased and you're just doing all these awkward stretches and you're like stimulating these muscles and tissues in your body that you don't normally use on a regular basis, it is brutal. Like a good 45-minute yoga session is brutal. It is not easy. But after, when you come out of that session, you feel amazing. Like you feel so good. But it sort of reminds me of the sauna, like of going in the sauna, like a really hot sauna. It's where it's like really difficult to breathe, and they have like that eucalyptus stuff going, and they throw the water on the stones, and there's all this steam. And then if you feel like you can't breathe or get any air, like all these things are extremely difficult. And I want to get back to doing them when all this COVID stuff ends. Because over here, like all the gyms got shut down, and all the yoga studios got shut down, and there's no sauna. Like there's none of that here. So I've kind of just been working out in my garage, trying to stay as healthy as I can in the meantime. But I definitely miss that routine of going to the gym. Kind of like that. So hopefully I'll be able to get into that maybe next year. Even if you just buy like a yoga mat and do it in your bedroom. Like sometimes I would play one of those YouTube videos, like 20-minute yoga class for beginners, for example, and then I would just do it in my house. It's not easy. I did my first sauna in the Netherlands during a trip with friends. It was tough. Wow. Dang, bro. Yeah, those northern northeastern European countries like that are really into sauna, like Finnish sauna and all those places. Those guys are wild. They'll like go in the sauna like in the winter and then come out and then go jump in the snow or go like swim in a freezing lake and then go back in the sauna. And I'm just like, man, that's next level. That's next level sauna experience. Oh man. I think I've done that once when I went to I think I was in Germany or Switzerland. I went to like a pool with I think it was my uncle or cousins. And I was like, why are we going to go swimming at like 9 p.m. at night? It seemed like so weird to me. And I'm like, no one's going to be there. So we go to the pool, people everywhere. And I was like, what is going on? Like people in Europe, they like to go swimming at night. Because here in Canada, you go swimming like on the weekend in the afternoon or in the morning or something. Like you don't go at night. Like that's so strange. And then I remember the pool, it would go all the way to the wall, right, of the building. And then it had those like plastic flaps that you usually see in like a butcher shop, like those thick pieces of plastic that are hanging down, but you can kind of like push through it to go through it. And I was like, what is that? So I swam over to it and I pushed the flaps, and the pool went outside of the building into like the backyard of the facility, and the indoor pool became an outdoor pool. So you could swim inside and then go through those flaps, and all of a sudden you're in an outdoor pool in the middle of the night. And this is in the middle of winter. And I'm like, what is going on? Like people in Germany it's so crazy. And then outside, there was a sauna, right? Just outside of the pool, and people were jumping in the snow. And I was just like, I was so confused because you don't see this in Canada, right? And so these guys would be jumping in the snow, and they'd be doing those snow angels where they're on their back and they're going like this. And then they would go in the sauna and go in and out, back and forth. And I was just like amazed that people did this, and I found it so bizarre. And I remember trying it, and I was like, okay, this is retarded. Like this is so dumb. I can't do this. Like it was so cold, and then it was so hot, and I was just like shivering, and then I was sweating, and I was like, oh, this is just terrible. Like who does this, right? But at the time, I think I was probably like 14. So that's what, like I'm still like in grade school, so I don't know anything about the real world. But yeah, that was my first experience with like a European sauna. They do things very different, and I kind of like it. Like now, like later in life, like I would like to go and try that. You know, like imagine jumping in a freezing lake where it's like negative degrees or whatever, and then you go inside a super hot sauna. Next level of human evolution. Yeah, exactly. Oh man, that's exactly what it is. I swam one day in a blue mountain lake in Savoie, a French region. It was so cold. Oh man, yeah. Like, did you put your head? Did you submerge your full body underwater? Like when you're in those outdoor mountain lakes, like the water is so cold that if you put your face under, like it hurts your skull. I think I tried that a couple times, and I was like, this is wild, man. Like this is how people used to swim back in the day. Yeah, hopefully I kind of miss all these experiences of going out and doing things. Hopefully when COVID ends, we can do more of this stuff. Oh wait, I forgot about the list. Oh. Yeah, ask them, bro. Keep them coming. We got another. Oh, we got 40 minutes still. I gotta go at around 2, so we got another good 40 minutes or so. Man, I got a lot planned for the future coming up here. Got so many video ideas and creative projects that I want to start. Oh yeah, I purchased. Okay, I'll talk about that after, I guess. Did you journal in your life? How did you feel about it? So when I was younger, I didn't journal at all. I was never into journaling. In my late 20s, I kind of really got into like the whole to-do list. I was more of a to-do list person. I wasn't into like journaling my day or thoughts. I was more into like writing down things I wanted to do and things I needed to accomplish as a reminder. Because before, I used to have this horrible memory where I always felt that I was complacent. I always forgot to do things. So I found more value in creating tasks and lists of things to do rather than like journaling. I did a little bit of journaling in my 30s. I experimented with gratitude journaling for a while, and that I found was very beneficial. That was a great exercise, is just writing down like what you're grateful for every day. It kind of, again, it sort of pushes you towards that glass half full type of mentality where you're very appreciative of what you have, right? And I think about like, I'm very lucky. I grew up with family that love me and support me. I grew up in a country that wasn't war torn. I grew up in a country where there was opportunity, there was equality. There wasn't like, it was, everything was good, right? I had so much opportunity, and I always like kind of just took it for granted, like that's like a lot of people are like that in North America. We take things for granted, but it's not until you stop and you think about like, what are you grateful for? And then it's like, oh, I'm grateful I have shelter. I'm grateful that I have family. I'm grateful that I have food on the table and I can go to bed not starving, right? I'm grateful that I have heat at night, right? So I don't freeze. Like, all these basic human needs that you take for granted on a day-to-day basis, I really learned about with gratitude journaling. Unfortunately, like the habit kind of fell off because I am like so busy, like bouncing around all these type of ideas and all this work that I do where I have to be very diligent with my time. So I kind of always revert back to creating to-do lists and goals. So like my journal right here, it's all like to-do lists, stuff, goals that I have, business plans, YouTube goals, fitness goals. Like I write down like I have to post one YouTube video every Wednesday at 9 a.m. I have to work out 5 days per week. I have a goal for the type of house I want to get to, a goal for like my business plans, a goal to be happy, a goal for my family, a goal for my daughter. Like I'm very goal oriented. And even though I do benefit from the more introspective, talk about your feelings approach in journaling, I benefit greatly from structure, from, okay, today I have to do this, 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 and this. And these are tasks that I owe. This is not something that I should do or need to do. These are things that I owe. I owe these things to myself and I have to get them done. There's no debate, right? I write these things down and it's like, okay, I have to work out today. I have to do a live stream. I have to write for an hour or two and I have to edit. Like these are things that I owe to myself and there is no debating, right? And if you can force yourself to have this accountability, right? And you just do it, and you just do it every day, and you just do it. And all of a sudden it just becomes natural, right? And now I just write down things I have to do, get it done, check it off, on to the next thing, check it off. And if I didn't do this, I wouldn't have time to do anything. Because like, look, I have a house to maintain, I have a regular job, a wife, daughter, YouTube channel, which requires filming, editing, finding like music, sound design, podcast, this live stream. Like there's so many things I'm trying to pack into these 16-hour days, which is, if I don't have this journaling to-do list set up, that there's no way I'd be able to get everything done. But yeah, great benefit to all types of journaling. Everything. Bullet, to-do list, gratitude, all of that. Just, I can't speak highly enough about it. At first, I just wanted to have the water to the knees. Oh, water to the knees, but I slipped on wet rocks and fell in the water. When I emerged, I heard my sister laughing out. Oh, man. Dang, bro, that's dangerous. You slipped on a wet rock. That's wild. I think that GTD, what is that? Get things done? The GTD plan would work for you both if you are that busy. Is that what that stands for? Get things done, I'm assuming. Yeah, it's hectic. You know, it's hectic trying to do like so many things at the same time. This is why I also kind of had to step down from my full-time job. So right now I only work part-time. So instead of working like 9 to 5, like 8 hours a day, I work 3 to 8. So 5 hours a day. Kind of like it helps to be there for my daughter in the mornings, right? Because again, I talk about all these things that, you know, I want to be a better person, things that I want to improve in my life. But at the same time, at the end of the day, the most important thing is family, right? At the end of the day, your family is what trumps everything. And especially like having a daughter, like my daughter's needs supersedes all of my needs now. You know, like I do a lot of these things. You know, I want to be a good dad. I want to be a good father. I want to be a good role model. I want to be like a good person, right? So like I want my daughter to know that she has a good father, right? And a responsible father, right? So these are all things that are very important to me. So like my dreams and aspirations as a content creator and a YouTuber and, you know, whatever this is, like whatever this thing is that I'm doing, it's not just for me anymore. There are other people who rely on me, you know, to be successful. There are other people who rely on me to be there, to be reliable, right? Like you want to be a reliable human being. When people need you, when your family needs you, I want them to know that, you know, Derek is always there. You know, Derek was always available if they needed him, right? If someone, a friend or family member needed to talk or needed advice or needed to just, you know, do something or see someone, like I want to always be available to the people I love and be a good person, right? Because at the end of the day, you know, that's what life is to me, right? Is to be there and be the best possible human being you can be, not just for yourself, but for other people. And I think that's like the greater cause in life, where it's more than yourself, right? So just added this to my to-do list. Start a gratitude journal. Watching your videos and streams is never a waste of time. Thank you, Derek. Hey, no problem, Batiste. Trust me, man. It seems kind of weird, like write a gratitude journal. Like I would write down maybe 8 lines of things that I was grateful for. And I'd be like, You know, I'm grateful that I live in North America. You know, I am grateful that my family is happy. I'm grateful that my family is healthy. You know, my parents are doing well. My brother is doing well. My wife is doing well. My daughter is doing well. You know, I am grateful that I can go to the grocery store and buy food and not be in debt, right? I'm grateful that I have good friends that if I call, they'll pick up and they'll talk to me. I'm grateful that I have a job at a company who, you know, pays me a salary and also gives me benefits. You know, I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to buy a camera and to buy a laptop and to do these creative things that I love to do. And when you think about that, like, I'm grateful, like, for the life that I live, right? I might not be, I'm not rich, I'm not wealthy or famous or any of these things, right? But what I am is, I am happy, right? And when you acknowledge that you're grateful for these things and you realize, you know, like, you know, life is good, you know, life is great. And I'm really grateful for what I have. And then it teaches you appreciation, right? And it really puts things into perspective. Because then, say when I drive to work and someone cuts me off or someone's driving like shit and, you know, causing me all this stress, my reaction is a lot different. I'm like, you know what? So many things in life are so great. This one guy cut me off on the road. So what? Like, in the grand scheme of things, am I going to flip out and get enraged over this one thing, right? Over this one dude who can't drive well? Is he going to ruin my entire day over an interaction that took 5 seconds, right? Like, is that what's going to ruin my day? No, right? That's meaningless. That's pointless, right? And you have this appreciation for life, and it's improved my perspective like so much as a human being. And I used to just always live in the moment, right? Like, F this, F that, anything bad happens to me, like, I immediately have a negative response to it. This is like, life is not fair. Why is this happening to me? How come I'm not as successful? But like, when you really stop and be honest and be like, what am I grateful for? And you realize what you have, and it's like, man, you know, so thankful. Like, so thankful. Even this, like, I'm thankful I have a computer, a camera, and fast enough internet to do this live stream right now. You know, like, some people live in countries where they're not as fortunate, right? Maybe they don't have access to the internet, or maybe they don't have access to technology or computers, and they couldn't do something like this, right? And I'm grateful for it, you know. And I try not to take it for granted, you know, however cliche that may sound. And I'm not scared to admit it, you know, like, if you say these things, people are going to laugh at you. Like, oh, Derek's grateful for being all this stuff, and he's being like so positive, and, you know, people at work will laugh at me. It's fine. You know, it's okay. They can laugh, you know. But at the end of the day, I'm still happy, you know. And that's what's meaningful to me. Be here for the person who are important to you, and also to fix the problems as fast as possible. A part of my morning routine is thanking God and the universe to give me the opportunity to live any other day on this beautiful planet. Yeah, man, that's a great way of putting it. Like, even take this for example. Like, I have unbelievable allergies to certain foods, for like pistachios and cashews, to a point where, like, if I ate these things, I'd die, right? Like, what if I was born in a place that didn't have as much, you know, medical influence and medical progression to where we know about food allergies, we know about antihistamines, we know about EpiPens and epinephrine and treatments that you can use for people that have severe allergies. And what if I was just born in a place where, like, oh, they don't have access to medication and these things, and oh, part of our diet is cashews, and I could have been born somewhere, ate this food, and I could have died, right? That's a huge possibility of the roll of the dice of life. Is I just happened to be born, you know, to like middle class parents in North America who were able to provide me protection and education, right? And things can be completely different, right? With just a simple roll of the dice of where you're born, or even what era, what era you were born in, right? Some people will call you weak because you don't want to fix all the problems with your fists and because you don't speak loud while arguing. Such a waste of time and energy. Yeah, it's tough, right? It's hard to be self-critical, It's hard to look at yourself and realize what your shortcomings as a human being are, and what are your bullshit qualities, and what are the things that you do poorly. Like, no one wants to do that. No one wants to look at themselves and see what's wrong. No one likes being wrong. No one likes being criticized or being told what to do, right? But if you can be honest with yourself and do that, I think it's very beneficial, right? I want you guys to read this novel. It's called The Dream of a Ridiculous Man. It's amazing and short, like 23 pages. You can finish it in one session. Okay, let me save that in a tab. The Dream of a Ridiculous Man. Wow, published 1877. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so I got 2 tabs saved from this no, 3 tabs. I got Hamza, The Dream of a Ridiculous Man, and the Galapagos Islands. So this is what I'm going to be reviewing after the stream. Yeah, thanks, dude. Yeah, I always appreciate book recommendations. Especially something that's short, like 23 pages. Like, there is no excuse why you can't read that. It's kind of like, what is it called? Seth Godin's The Dip. A book is like so short, and it's very, very powerful of a short read. I think I've read it like 3 times. How many pages does it have? The Dip. Seth Godin. 86 pages. Yeah, so less than 100 pages. Like, stuff like that is like so valuable. Where like the information is condensed into a form where you can pick up the book and in one sitting you can finish it, right? You know what's interesting about books though? I kind of completely changed my philosophy on how I approach books and how I read books. There's this investor, entrepreneur, businessman, super successful guy named Naval Ravikant. And he is probably one of my like heroes and idols that I look up to. And he said this one thing once that was very interesting. He said that you shouldn't try to read as many books as you can. You should try to find the best 100 books and read them over and over and over. And I was thinking about this because in the past, I thought knowledge was in terms of quantity. Like, how many books have I read, right? And I always felt like just finishing a book and moving on to the next book and finishing more and more and more and more and more that's how you accumulate knowledge. But the way Naval puts it is, if you do that, the understanding of the information that you retain from the book is very limited, right? But if you can find the best books and reread them over and over and over, you're going to retain a bigger percentage of that information. So I was really thinking about this, and I was like, okay, I'm working on a list in my spare time of what do I think the best 100 books are to me. And I'm going to get the audiobook version. I'm going to get the EPUB, ebook version, and I'm going to get the hard copy version. And I'm going to just consume them and reread them as many times as I can to fully understand what I'm talking about. Like, even for example, this book right here. So this book, The Psychology of Money, I just posted a YouTube video on this book, and I've read it 3 times, and I'm reading it for the 4th time right now. And it's like every time I reread it, you just like learn more and more about like the best ideas of the book. And then also you learn what parts of the book are useless. You can kind of just like skim through them, and you can get to like the main meat and the main compelling arguments of the book, and kind of like really go through them and fully absorb the concepts and ideas. So that's my new approach to books. By mentioning books, how do you guys read them? I just find them hard to read and to understand, even though I don't know how to stick to a book and finish it. So the way I read books is I always read the audiobook first, because when I'm at work, I can kind of listen to audiobooks while I'm working, and I can kind of just like breeze through them fairly quickly. But what I'll do is I'll listen to a whole bunch of books on tape, a whole bunch of audiobooks, and the ones that I found that were really compelling or very interesting, then I'll go out and seek the ebook or the physical copy of the book, and then I'll try to read it, sit down and read it. And then it kind of helps me fully absorb the information, because when you listen to an audiobook, you can kind of remember some of the key concepts and ideas and chapters, but then also sometimes you can't, and it kind of goes in one ear and out the other. But then when you sit down and read the physical book, and you can take your time and go through, the important chapters, like, oh, okay, oh yeah, I remember this. I remember the audiobook kind of talked about this point. It'll spark a memory in your mind. And then I just feel like kind of then going through the book physically is what really helps me learn and helps me consume the information. And I know that, it's not the same for everybody. Like, some people just love an ebook, or what do you call that thing from Amazon? It's like an iPad, a Kindle, right? A lot of people like Amazon Kindles because you can have like 50 books all on your Kindle, and you can just like go through them, right? So I guess it all depends on how you absorb the information the best. I actually don't know to learn from them and apply the concepts of it on my life. What do you mean? I actually don't know to learn from them and how to apply the concepts to your life? It's I guess it also depends, like you got to find books also that interest you, like for me, The Psychology of Money is like a great book for me, but it's also because I have a personal interest in finance. Like, I find the topic of finance interesting. So if you don't find finance and money interesting, then this book is probably useless to you, right? You're going to read it and be like, this is so boring, this is so stale, and this is like not entertaining, and it's going to be very difficult for you to retain the information. So I feel like it's very important to read books on subjects that intrigue you, right? Because that will help with the education and the learning process of consuming a book. The idea of my podcast is to choose a character. It could be from a book, a movie, a TV show, and even a video game, and explaining by his story and his behavior what lessons we could learn. That's pretty cool. Yeah, why don't you do that, Baptiste? That sounds very unique. Oh, that's an interesting idea. Because most podcasts are just like people talking about stuff, right? Paper only for me. Yeah, see, exactly. Like some people just love to have the physical book in their hand, right? Like my point of this is, how do you take notes and apply what you learned from a book on your daily life? Okay, let me give you an example. So here's another book that I made a video on called the 10x rule, right? So this book it's in my top 100 books that I'm going to read and reread over and over and over. So after I read this a couple times, I was okay, what is the 10x rule? And the 10x rule is setting goals that are 10 times bigger than normal. Okay, and now you're asking, like, how do you take notes and apply that to your life, right? So in the past, like for my YouTube channel, I had this goal of I wanted to hit 100,000 subscribers, right, and get that silver medal. I know it sounds super cliche, materialistic, but for whatever reason, I had this goal in my mind of, trying to hit 100,000 subscribers. And what this book taught me is that you need to set goals that are 10 times bigger than that, right? So 10 times that would be 1,000,000, right? So how do I apply this is in my journal, I'll actually show it to you and you can see right here. I don't know if you can see this. Can you see that? But at the top, it's like I write that I will have 1,000,000 subscribers, right? So this is the application of the knowledge from the book to my real life. So instead of having this goal in my mind of I want 100,000 subscribers, this book taught me you need to set bigger goals, larger than life goals, like extraordinarily incomprehensible goals that are 10 times bigger than normal. So I'm like, okay, 1,000,000 subscribers, which sounds crazy because I have 1,000, right? Like what? Like why would you set a goal that like obscene? But then I write it down and I write it down and I write it down and I try to write it down as many times as possible. Like I will reach 1,000,000 subscribers. And what this does is the book teaches you that by setting goals that are much larger in life, even if you fail at achieving them, but if you were to say to get, I don't know, halfway, right? Halfway to 1,000,000 is still 500,000. That's still 5 times greater than my previous goal, right? So this is how I kind of apply these concepts is I look for what is the most impactful idea of the book. Like what is the main point that the book is trying to argue and convey? And I take that idea and I go, okay, how can I apply this to my life, right? So in this case, it was setting goals. Okay, bam, I put that goal in my journal. And then with this book, the psychology of money, like, what's the point of this? The main idea is save money without having a reason to do so. So in the past, normal people would be like, I want to save up money to go on that vacation or trip. Or, I want to save up money to buy a car. Or I want to save up money for that new video game. But the main concept in that book is save money for the sake of saving money. You don't need a reason because life is so crazy and life is so unpredictable that you need to save money for those unpredictable moments, right? That is the psychology and that is the importance of having money and being financially secure. So I'm like, okay, so now I'm just going to save for the sake of saving. So I start, putting money away without having a specific reason to have money for, right? So this is how I apply books to my everyday life because you can't take everything. It's impossible to take every concept and idea from a 300-page book, right? For me, it's figuring out what is the main concept, what is the main idea or the big thought that is being conveyed by the author, and then take that one big point and then incorporate that into your life somehow. Now, and if you were try to take, 20 different points about money and try to add them all at the same time, it's probably not going to go that well. But if you can just focus on one idea, right, and try to do that one idea very well, or try to do it to the best of your ability, then hopefully it will make a lasting effect on your life. So that's kind of how I approach books. And it's also too, like, sometimes the idea might not work out, right? So you also need to be aware that you can't get married to your ideas, right? You can't get married to these concepts in books and things that you learn from other people. Like even right now, like you might be listening to me and like, oh, that sounds good. Like, oh, maybe I should do that too. But like my situation is so different than anyone else's, and yours is also so different than anyone else in the world, right? And what works for you might not work for me, and what works for me might not work for you. But you just be aware of this, that try different things and find the things that are applicable to your life, and then be like, oh, okay, so this and this works, but maybe that doesn't. So you throw that other thing away and you keep those first two ideas. So I think that's I guess what I'm trying to say is like take an open mind approach to things, right? And just be reasonable, be reasonable with your expectations. I think that good books are the ones that can be first explained to people in less than a minute. Yeah, like keep it simple, right? Like you don't want things to be overcomplicated. Like there's a book I'm reading right now, and oh man, it's such a struggle to read. It is so overcomplicated, and the language of words that the author uses is so unnecessarily like overly, I don't even know how to describe it. It's basically a bunch of words that I have to use a dictionary to find out what they mean, right? Instead of just speaking in normal terms, the author uses all this like uses all his fancy linguistic knowledge to write these paragraphs and sentences that are just overly complicated. And I have to stop reading. I got to get the dictionary. I'm going to find out, okay, what does this mean? What does this mean? And this is like this horrible process, because I've been reading this book for like a month and I'm like not even halfway. It's just so terrible. But the thing is, the ideas in the book are amazing. Like they're so well thought out, and the arguments are so strong, and the content in the book is great, but it's incredibly difficult for me to extract the information from it because my vocabulary of words is not as strong as this author, right? So again, like simple is important too. And by reading, you go further in the ideas. You get in brainstorm mode of having these ideas on your head, overindulged in his mind. I hear you. Yeah, I agree with the simplistic stuff. It's like if you can't really convey the main idea, like what's the main point or thought in the book in like a few sentences, then it's probably overly complex, right? I tried reading a book from the German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, right? Oh, this man is so wise, but oh my god, it is hard to read. Yeah, Nietzsche's stuff is, again, like it's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's almost as if it's too good, right? It's too brilliant, where regular minds and more simplistic thinking people like myself, I can't fully grasp the content because of the language that's being used. Like it's just it's frustrating, it's frustrating, that type of stuff. Because especially that guy, like a lot of philosophers have these amazing concepts and ideas that they share with the world, but it's so difficult to understand it. Yeah, exactly. Too good that you can't ignore it. It's just let me see, what other books am I working on right now? Oh yeah, and that book that I'm reading that's really hard is Skin in the Game by Nassim Taleb. That guy is like a brilliant author, Nassim Taleb. He has like amazing, amazing ideas. But then when I read his stuff, it's just the guy's like too smart for me or something. Like he's the way he uses words. It's above my intellectual capacity. Are there any books that you guys are reading right now? Oh, here, like listen to this. So this is a sentence from the book that I'm reading. It says, a system with skin in the game requirements hold together through the notion of a sacrifice in order to protect the collective or entities higher in the hierarchy that are required to survive. It's like, what? Like, what did you just say? I don't understand, like, what that sentence is. Through the notion of a sacrifice in order to protect the collective or entities higher in the hierarchy that are required to survive. It's like, what? Like, I don't even understand what I just read. Like, it's just like, what's the word? Like, bamboozles my brain. It's just, I'm so overcome with confusion that my brain can't even comprehend the words that I'm reading. It's almost as if like, is this English? Like, am I reading English? So, I don't know. I think it's good to mix in some super deep level, overcomplicated philosophy with, you know, some more simpler concepts as well. Because again, you want to challenge yourself cognitively, right? But at the same time, I can't read only Nassim Taleb work. That's just, my brain would explode if I just tried to do that. That guy's too brilliant of a man. Can't do it. But you never know. Maybe one day I'll get through that book, and then maybe I'll reach some type of enlightenment. I'm trying to read The Pistachio Theory. It's an Arabic book. So yeah. Pistachio Theory. Hey, Master Yoda, where are you from? Just so I get an idea. My reading habit is reading a fiction book and a self-development book or a topic that I want to learn about. So I'm reading the second book of the Waylander Saga and the Black Book of the Sea. Oh, do you kind of like, what is this song? It's like putting me to sleep. Do you go back and forth? Like you go fiction, non-fiction, like that way? And so like your brain switches from, oh, that's cool. Hey, Iraq? Oh, dude, that's dope. I won't believe. No, man, that's awesome. That's pretty cool. I don't know anyone from Iraq. Dang. How's life in Iraq these days? What's your weather like? Is it like super hot desert? See, now you see how I'm such a curious person. I'm gonna Google Iraq weather right now. Oh my god. Up to 39 degrees. Every single day is sun. Holy. Dude, next Saturday is gonna be 40 degrees, full sunshine. Precipitation is 0%. Oh my god, that's wild. Dang. It's changing these days? Oh, yeah, right. Dang, dude, that's some wild. Let me see the weather here. Okay, so here I got 21 degrees. I got rain on Saturday, clouds tomorrow, rain on Monday, clouds on Tuesday, clouds on Wednesday. It's just like precipitation 60%. Like here it's just like it's getting kind of cold and dreary and rainy. And why am I so bad at typing? Oh man, maybe it's the hot Iraqi? Do you say Iraqi weather? How do you say plural? Iraqi? Oh yeah, wow, when I look at Iraq on like Google Maps, it's like all beige color, like barely any green. Well, actually, no, there's some green down in the middle on the outskirts of Baghdad. None of this is happening in our weather. Dang, dude. It's so interesting how like climates are so vastly different in the world. Like it's so crazy. Like even just a couple weeks ago, here it was like super hot. It was like the middle of summer, like sunshine every day, needed air conditioning all the time. And then all of a sudden it's gone. Like the heat is gone, it's cold, it's rainy, like I need a jacket now. And then before long we're gonna have snow. You know, I'm gonna have to like bust out the winter tires for my car, buy salt to put on the sidewalk and shovel the snow, and just like this whole ordeal. Oh dang, it's 2 o'clock. Hey, we almost made it to 2 hours. Hey, if you guys have any more questions, let me know before I go. I got about another 5 minutes or so. This was a great stream. We, the three of us had some awesome conversation. I love it. Well, either way, it's messy. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, unfortunately for me, it's like there's no escape of the winter in Canada. Such is life. It's just part of what it is. There's no point where you can go south in Canada to escape winter. You have to like go to the US. So I got no options. Do you remember The Final Blow? What is that? Movie? No, I don't know what that is. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, it was so cool. Believe it or not, I was peeling potatoes while listening and chatting with you. Hey, that's tonight we eat French fries. No, it's a person. Bruh, it's me. What? Oh, like that, like your username or something? Sorry, I'm confused. Is that like the most French thing? Eating French fries, that doesn't seem like a very French thing to do. That seems like an American thing to do. Or is Or is that common in France? Like the act of peeling your own potatoes and making your own fries? Maybe that is more of a French tradition. Actually, that would probably make sense. Because here we associate French fries with like lazy people that just go to McDonald's. I don't think we appreciate the culinary art form of French cooking. Bum, bum, bum. Alright guys, I'm gonna end the stream. It was and it was awesome talking to you guys. Batiste, Master Yoda, thanks for dropping by and you know, just talking about life and talking about, you know, books and all these conversations that we had. It's you know, like these are moments that, you know, I appreciate, and I learn from you guys just as much if, you know, if you would learn from me. And it's always nice talking to people that are, you know, that are willing to share their perspective. All right guys, have a good weekend. Next video is probably going to be out on the 29th on Wednesday, and then the stream, I'm guessing the next stream maybe October 9th or 16th. I'm not sure yet, but I'll have to see with my schedule. So, you know, thanks for dropping by. Hit the like button, I guess, if that, I don't know what it does, but maybe it'll help me out. But anyways, have a good weekend, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Peace, peace, peace.